I'm going to be talking about Eric July. If you guys don't know who this dude is, he's awesome. He's got great takes on a lot of different things, um, politically, pop culture, a lot of different things. So I'm going to be focusing on this is from Bounding into Comics. All right. And Eric July did a breakdown of why he doesn't want to see his Marvel characters anymore. He doesn't even want to see them. Like, keep them out of your MCU. Don't even bring my favorite characters to light. And he does a really good job of breaking down why. And I happen to agree with him on a lot of these points. And it man, I mean, I think about anything. Like, Star Wars comes to mind first because of the newest Star Wars. So many people hate on the new Star Wars. And I don't blame them. I recently just rewatched all of the Star Wars movies because I'm going to be doing a deep dive soon on Star Wars. And the new Star Wars, it really feels like they didn't care about Star Wars at all. The lore, just they were just like, whatever, let's just write a big, huge, awesome movie about a girl that is just stronger than everyone else. I mean, obviously I'm paraphrasing, but it'll make a little bit more sense after I redo this. All right, so this is from Bounding into Comics. This is a breakdown. Be explains why he no longer wants to see his Marvel characters in the MCU. Now, he swears a little bit, so I'm gonna be carving out the swears as to not swear. Young YouTuber Eric July, aka Young Ripa 59, recently explained why he no longer wants to see his favorite Marvel comic characters join the MCU. July said, and this is a lot of quotes from him, "Truth to be told, I believe I've reached a point where I don't want to see some of my favorite characters appear in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know why? You know why? Because they aren't going to do them any effing justice," he claimed. I mean, he goes on, but right there, that's it. They don't care about these characters at all. They don't do them justice. It's all about, you know what? I'll let Eric explain it. He does it so well. See, the normies have taken over. The directors, the actors, actresses think everything's about them. They're vanity projects. They want them to be whatever statement that they can make. That's what it is. He added, so if they have a chance to change a character to fit whatever system that is, belief system that is, that's what they're going to do. He continues, look guys, I've said it many times before, how I approach comic book related material when it comes to live action, so TV shows as well as movies. I just expect them to look and act like the characters. That's it. I mean, that makes sense. I loved Green Lantern as a kid. I had some comic books. I also liked Captain America, Wolverine. I really, really liked Wolverine a lot. I had a lot of Wolverine comics. And the Wolverine, he was vicious. Like, he ended people in like a very bloody fashion. The early Wolverine comics are awesome. Green Lantern I really liked, and I actually recently rewatched the Green Lantern movie that Ryan Reynolds got a lot of heat for. It actually wasn't so bad. Don't hate me for that, but he's right though. I want to just see like Wolverine. I want to see him cutting people's heads off. Like that's what he did. That's the type of character he was. He was vicious. He was an animal. He ripped people apart. And it was visceral. It was crazy to see him do that. But that's the kind of person he was. You don't see that. Like in the X-Men movies, some of them are better than others. I don't know. Logan wasn't that bad. I don't know. There's so many Wolverine movies. But First Class was actually pretty cool. And the one where Wolverine goes back in time, I thought that was all right. But the first three were so bad. Like they made them, they like bubbleized them. Is that the right way? They just kind of dumbed it down and made it cheesy in a sense. And I didn't get that visceral sense from X-Men, which I also really liked X-Men. But anyway, continuing on, this is continuing from July. He goes, but having known that, they don't even care about that. They don't care about the representing the actual character that's supposed to represent. He goes, they're getting people that are blatantly not connected to this stuff. And that's the key. The writers, the actors, most importantly, the writers. They're not connected. They don't care. So I brought up Star Wars. That's really what happened. J.J. Abrams even came out and said, we actually had absolutely no plan for the last 3 movies. Like they didn't even talk to each other like through the new movies. The last movie, somehow they brought Palpatine back, and it was her granddaughter or his granddaughter or some crazy thing. Like Snoke was the bad guy, but then he gets killed, and then now they had to like scramble to figure out who the bad guy was. It was a mess, and they admitted that it was a mess. Crazy. So July continues. He says he then provides WandaVision head writer and Black Widow writer Jack Schaefer as an example. There are plenty of nerds who could write a script that is based on, let's say, on some sort of source material and write a script to make it a crossover. Let's say in a live setting that makes sense. He continues, those aren't the people that are getting the jobs. The people get the jobs are the people like Jack Schaefer, who gets to be a showrunner for WandaVision, as well as she did some stuff with Black Widow, having never heard of Mephisto, which to me is an ultimate slap in the face, but more, it just shows where they're at. In fact, there was a little reference to Mephisto, it says right here, because he had something to do with the Tesseract Cube. So they actually did give him like a tiny nod, but the writers, Jack Schaefer, he didn't know about that. Some of the people obviously know a little something about the MCU, but not Jack Schaefer. And he continues, he's like, they are hiring people that are not fit for the jobs. July then states, imagine actually being a showrunner for WandaVision, using the twins, having not know who Mephisto was until you started going on a promotion tour, probably being asked, just like the writers were asked who Darth Plagueis was, and they were like, Darth Vegas? No, Darth Plagueis, the guy who taught Palpatine. Yeah, who Palpatine learned and then killed and became the Sith Lord. Hello, do you know any Star Wars lore at all? No, they didn't. They didn't even know who Darth Plagueis was. He actually is... Palpatine talks to Anakin in, I believe, the 3rd movie. I'm pretty sure it was the 3rd movie, episode 3, talking about Darth Plagueis the Wise, and he tells him a little bit of the story about him. It's craziness. So I know July continues here. He says, so I know that I'm not going to get the version of a character that is even remotely like them. They may look like them loosely, may wear a similar colored suit, but are they going to be to generally act like them? Or even in some cases actually look like them in terms of they'll race swap, do whatever? Probably not, he explains. Not now, maybe early on in the MCU, because it wasn't built upon this, maybe early on. But going in the direction now, when you hear Kevin Feige or Victoria Alonso say what they're prioritizing, which isn't you. It isn't the reader or the viewer. It's them. It's their... this is me. I'm not quoting July anymore. I'm just kind of ranting a little bit because that's really what they want. They're doing their ideologies, their inclusivities, whatever you want to call it. They don't care about the lore anymore. They're like, how can we use this to spread a mess, to send a message out there? Let's be inclusive. Or you should, be true to the original story of the characters that you're supposed to be representing for these people who love these characters and oftentimes grew up with these characters and know their personalities. July then points out to the Eternals. You've got the Eternals cast. I think all but 2 of the Eternals are tokenized. All but 2. Look how many there are. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 Eternals. And all but 2 have been altered and changed. And he continues, like they didn't even try. And Kevin Feige says he specifically they wanted to use the Eternals because they thought, well, people aren't as knowledgeable on them, so we get to do all of the diversity BS. Wow. He expounds, having known that maybe I don't want them to appear because they're gonna f him up anyway. Like I'm not gonna get the version of the character I want and expect, and that's sad. Later he adds, so having known that they're bringing people on the material that have zero connection to it, I know I'm not going to get the version of the character that I even care about, that even matters, because it's just going to be a character in name. They couldn't even get Spider-Man right. Although, I gotta say, Into the Multiverse, I liked that movie. That was a pretty cool movie. Probably my favorite Spider-Man movie. I'll be honest. It was awesome. He went on to describe the MCU version of Spider-Man, saying, in terms of how his relationship is with other characters as well, it is the most inaccurate live-action depiction of Spider-Man that we've ever got. It's not even close. But who cares? He swings around in a blue and red suit, and that's good enough for them, he states. July then spells it out. So having known that, having understood that, why would I want to look forward to a character that I like appearing in MCU? I don't care for them to do that. In fact, I'm getting to the point where it's probably a net positive that they don't appear. Now that is just sad. I liked the Marvel movies. I thought Captain America was awesome. I really liked Thor, the first Thor. Like, a lot of the early MCU movies were great, and they got bigger and bigger and epicer and crazier. Man, and then Endgame came, and it was like, time travel? Really? Time travel. Okay, whatever. I enjoyed it because, it was the end, but Infinity War was basically the end. I mean, they could have just ended, like Thanos snapped. That's it. That's the end. It would have been brutal. But I mean, life is brutal. It could have just been like an epic end. And they could have just maybe created a new IP. I don't know, something new, instead of just rehashing all these old characters and just race swapping for inclusivity or something. I don't know. Create a new character. Be bold. Get out there and try something new. These people don't want to do that. They're just going to keep redoing all these different things with different race. Everything's about race with these people. It's craziness. Eric continues on, but he's gotten the point across as far as what I wanted to talk about. Because that's really, these people, they don't want to hold true to the characters. I mean, they don't care about the characters. They don't care about you. They don't care about the viewer. They just care about getting their point, their view across. And that's sad.